if you've ever used the commando in Call of Duty Black Ops, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys. Today, we're talking about my XM4 Airsoft toy and how I built it and why I built it. So let's get right into it and talk about this thing. So the XM4 is actually the XM177, a prototype of the M4 carbine way back in the Cold War era. And this is a kind of faithful-ish recreation of it. And this is actually the Cold War version. So if you kind of remember the old heads from the Black Ops version, it's actually a black strap and it has like the Seymour sight and the gas block is cut off. That's like the classic look that everyone loves. But my absolute favorite has always been the Cold War version because it just looks the coolest. And the best part about this too is that it's also a gas gun. So that makes it twice as cool. So let's talk about this build, how I built it, and how you can too. The base rifle, first of all, is a Tokyo Marui gas blowback CQB-R. And the reason I went for that and not the regular carbine is because the handguard is slightly different and it already has that short barrel that I don't need to modify in order to kind of get the length that I wanted. So the CQB-R is basically the best base for this as well. Talk about the flash hider. We kept it the standard flash hider because I didn't really like the XM177 one because it's really long, actually. It's like this long. And this being a CQB rifle, having something that long is kind of detrimental. If I wanted to extend the length in CQB, I would put a suppressor on there. So let's talk about the front post. So the front post is the default one from the CQB-R. This is obviously the most iconic part about it. We're not gonna cut off the gas block to put an optic on this thing. And it's just the stock default one. And the rear sight is actually, I think it was called a Troy sight, and I got it off my boy Pasta, and he had one, and it is mounted backwards, which is faithful to the Black Ops version and the Cold War version. So having it mounted backwards doesn't affect performance at all. Has really nice aperture, actually, nice and wide, and it does have the semi-auto version too, which I don't actually use at all because I'm using this thing with iron sights and I need all the visibility I can get. It is, of course, adjustable as well, and it's actually polymer, so it makes it a little bit lighter and doesn't really matter. The handguard is not the classic carbine one. That one is actually a fat boy, and this is actually a lot thinner, and I actually got this off my boy Pasta as well. It's polymer, and it was from his old Car 15 that he made, and he let me have it, and it's actually a little bit modified. It's actually shaven down a bit, because he had it on AEG, but with the gas version, it fits like super tight already. So I didn't opt for getting that gang grip because I don't know, I wanted to like keep it classic. It looks really cool like this, and you can hold it in different ways, and it's just really, really nice and versatile. We had some electric tape to kind of hold it together because there are a little bit of seams. So there's actually electric tape holding the back and the front of this together, even though it's not absolutely necessary. Let's talk about the piece de resistance, which is the sling. So the sling is actually just a generic sling I got from Echigoya. It's nothing special. I don't even know the brand of it. It was just a sling that I picked up because it had the right color. The only issue that this doesn't make it accurate is it doesn't have any D-rings around here, but it does go over the bolt catch as usual, and it is still functional. So if I were to do this, you could still hit the bolt, so no problem with performance issues there. It's basically wrapped and hooked to the back of the buffer tube, wrapped around twice, wraps around the forward assist, then goes around the iron sight, wrapped around twice, and then looped through the back so it doesn't come undone. And then I actually have a little, what's this called? A little wire or something like that that holds it together, like those little wires you get when you buy like headphones or something, that holds it into the handguard so that it will keep that nice aesthetic look. Even if you move the gun around, it's not gonna be flying around. So it doesn't get in the way, it works pretty fine, and it's awesome. I would probably upgrade this in the future to try and find a D-ring to put there to complete the look, but for now, it works fine. It is completely fine, so no issues there. And of course, I do have another sling with this sling as well, because it is purely aesthetic to just have that on, so I run this with a 1-point. It's a lot easier to run this way than to run with the 2-point, and I can't actually run one. The only thing I'm missing is the little hook there. I'm still trying to find a hook for that, the little swivel, but I couldn't find one that fits so far. So unfortunately, we don't have that right now. So the magazine is just the standard Tokyo Marui gas magazine. However, this is the Type 89 magazine, as you can see here, and it has like little markings on there. And I think this is pretty cool because it kind of gives you this retro look from that era to count the bullets, even though it's not from the XM4 at all. And I think it kind of completes the look. However, I do have regular MWS magazines. So whenever I'm loading to that, it can just look normal like this. And it has the red tape, of course, from Cold War. Makes it stand out a little bit easier. And it's just purely aesthetic. So nothing to write home about there. I am planning on upgrading the valves at some point to make it more efficient with the Lilacs valves. But for now, we're just going to keep it like this. And they run 35 round mags. And it's super cold right now because it's like November. So not really good to be using outside right now. You might be asking, why are you not based and using jungle magazines? Let me show you this clip right here why I stopped using them.
What about my gas gun? Whoa. Oh. Recorded that on film.
And that's why I stopped using them, because they were always a little bit risky to use. But I used to pretty much put two Type 89 mags together, spacer in the middle. And what a lot of people do when they make jungle mags is they like do this and they make them like extra long. That's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to put a spacer so it's right above the mag well so that you can easily just flip them over. You could also do mag clip. But if you do a mag clip, it's gonna end up on the other side, so then the position of the magazine will change. So I like to do a flip like this, and you flipped it, and then it would go in, and then the magazine would still be in the same spot. And that's something I learned from just looking at the Cold War model on the game, and that's how I learned how to make that. I probably want to use a cardboard spacer and duct tape, maybe like a piece of wood if you had that, because the cardboard spacer does kind of move around a bit, and it does take a little bit of experimentation to kind of get it right. So yeah, let's talk about the internals. So the internals have been changed a little bit. I've only changed the bucking and barrel. So the barrel is a tight bore barrel. I think it's 250 or 230 or something like that. It's a 6.1 tight barrel by Lilacs, makes it beam. And then previously we had the Lilacs purple in there. And usually I stand by those a lot. And unfortunately this time it just wasn't working. It would beam, but then I was having issues with it, and it was like very inconsistent. It was like beaming and then it would just drop, and it would barely reach 15, and it was probably a bad air seal or something was going wrong, or the hop arm wasn't working or something like that, and it just wasn't happening. So that's kind of unfortunate about that. So we've actually changed it out to a maple leaf, like that little blue maple leaf in there, and now this thing beams 25. So that's kind of the biggest issue I had. Whenever I used gas guns in the past, even in the summer, if I was trying to reach 25, 30 meters, it was not getting there with 2.5s. So that was the issue with that. And with this new maple leaf, it's gonna do well. I forgot to mention that we also changed the entire chamber. So we're not even using the stock Marui chamber. We're using the Lilacs, not CNC. It's like a metal chamber. It's like a metal chamber, and we also use the hop arm. So the hop arm is nice. There's no nub. It's just a straight up hop arm. It pushes down on the hop rubber really nice and firm, and the performance is a lot better. It's a sought after part. So we've actually completely chamber tuned this XM4. So it should perform outside of CQB as well, but I haven't actually used it outside of CQB yet. So that's that. Recoil spring and bolt system is all stock right now. Maybe in the future, we might upgrade that with a heavier recoil spring or something like that. I don't know, or a different aluminum bolt or something to make it operate better. But other than that, we just kept it the same for now. Trigger is also the same as well. Let's talk about the A1 grip. So this thing comes with the A2 grip, and a lot of people I've seen will like shave off the little thingy. But this is actually, I think it's a big dragon grip. Like we were at Echigoya and we were at the store, and I just found it. I was like, oh my God, it's the A1 grip. It was like 3,000 yen. And they actually have the legitimate A1 grip. So it has a nice angle. It doesn't have that stupid finger thingy in there. And it has this little nub here that lets you know it's an actual A1. No storage space, so you can finger it if you want. But it's very, very nice, and complete the look like that. Now, let's talk about the charging handle. It is the default charging handle. We have a little bit of elastic bands on here. I've kind of imported this look from Black Ops 6 to put the rubber bands for aesthetics. I'm pretty sure it can help you grip it like this, but I never actually grab it like that. There is one issue, and a lot of people you're gonna be asking is, does this sling get in the way? Most of the time it doesn't, but if it comes undone from here, this little sling part will come up, and then I have to like kind of push it back down. But very rarely am I actually using the charging handle, so it's not really an issue at all in realistic terms. But yeah, that's that. The stock is a CAR 15 stock. This is something that my boy Pasta gave me as well. Nice and compact. This thing originally came with the CQB stock, the crane. And this is just a lot better. It's more vibes. If I wanted to get the complete look, you would shave this off and get rid of it. But for now, it's really nice. Elastic bands kind of keep this in place and kind of give me a nice cheek weld. And yeah, it's adjustable 6 points as well. And by default, it's like this in the game. In reality, I'm a big boy, so I need to kind of do just one position out for CQB so that I can get a nice like MP5 length. So it's really, really nice like this. But in reality, if I was outside or something, put it out to full length, and then that's actually like my real length. So yeah, man. Dudes, this is the XM4. We have some gameplay of this, of course, on the channel you guys can check out. Yeah, this thing is an absolute beast. My favorite gun to like just touch and fool around with. And I just really like the practicality of it. It's just really, you know. Let's do a little bit of a shot test here at some clothes. See, locks back very nice and efficient, and it looks goddamn cool. Hey guys, if you like this video, if you like the XM4, put it down in the comment section down below. Let me know what's your favorite gun from Call of Duty, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.